Hey, good morning, geometry. It's Maze coming at you live from room 308. It's Thursday. It's the 23rd of April. And I would like to thank all of you for the outstanding work you're doing. If you'll notice, I adjusted a plan book. We are going to kick two of those sections in the next week. My goal for this week is to get you guys through 10.4, get your check for comprehension done, and then just kind of let people catch up a little bit here. So we're going to take today and tomorrow, just finish up to 10.4, get that check for comprehension done, and then next week we'll move into the rest of it. So we're maintaining a pretty good pace. I'm happy with it, but we got to slow down just a little bit and let some of you catch up. So that's what I'm going to do. So now in preparation for the rest of chapter 10, particularly chapters 10, section 10.7, we're back into the coordinate plane. We're going to put a circle on the coordinate plane, and we're going to find some radiuses and some centers given some algebraic expressions. Now, to accomplish this task, it is sometimes necessary to complete the square or use the quadratic formula. Now, I posted a worksheet out there. It's not due until Tuesday, so, don't panic. But I want to give you some examples on how this works because I'll bet that some of you might have forgotten exactly how this works. So here we go. All right, so here we go. Geometry, algebra review, completing that's supposed to be a square, by the way, and using the quadratic formula. All right, so on your worksheet, problem number one. Problem number one starts out with 9 Mike squared minus 18 Mike minus 32 is equal to negative 5. Well, right off the bat, this is in terrible form. We need to fix it. So, and you'll see where I'm aiming for. So to get there, I'm going to add 32 to both sides. We all know how to do that. And I'm going to get 9m squared minus 18 is equal to 27. Well, let's divide by 9 both sides. Both sides divide everything by 9. So now, this looks much better. I've got Mikey squared minus 2 Mikey, and notice I left a space, is equal to 3. Now, before we complete the square, and this is super important, a has to be a 1, okay? You got to have a to be 1. The coefficient in front of the squared term's got to be a 1. And it is, so we're good to go. So, now, this is how you complete the square. Once you've got the coefficient in front of the squared term to be a 1, you take the b. In our case, it's negative 2. You take half of that b term. Take half of the b term, square it, and add it to both sides, okay? So take half of negative 2, square it, and add it to both sides. Well, half of negative 2 is negative 1, and if you square it, you get a 1. So now you're going to add 1 to both sides. Notice what I did there. Mike squared minus 2 Mike plus 1 is now equal to 4. Now here's the question. Why did we do that? Well, because what we've built is a square. That's the whole gist. We're building a square. And what we have on the left is a perfect square trinomial. And if you recall from your factoring days, that factors into Mike minus 1. Mike minus 1 is equal to 4. Or Mike minus 1 squared is equal to 4. That's the goal right there. Okay? Now, you're going to see the significance of that when we start finding the centers of a circle when you're giving x minus h quantity squared and y minus k quantity squared. All right, now, so now that I know that Mike minus 1 quantity squared is equal to 4, take the square root of both sides. Okay? So when I do that, I get Mike minus 1 is equal to plus or minus 2, because remember the square root of 4 is a positive 2, because positive 2 times positive 2 is 4, and negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. So I got two equations out of this. Mike minus 1 is equal to 2, or Mike minus 1 is equal to negative 2, and poof, Mike is equal to 3, Mike is equal to negative 1. So those are your two solutions. All right? Now, let's do a quadratic formula. Now, this is number 9, okay? And it says solve using the quadratic formula. Well, right off the bat, bad form. Well, we need to put it into a good form. And good form is 0 is equal to 5n squared minus 4n plus 5. All I did is I added 5 to both sides, turned it around. Now, remember, quadratic formula, you have to identify your a, b, and c, a being the coefficient in front of the squared term, b being the coefficient in front of the single term, and c being the constant on the end. Okay? Why do I have a negative 5? That should be a positive 5. Okay? All right, well, anyway, that should be a positive 5. Let's fix that right now. There. Okay, now, when you plug this into the quadratic formula, there it is, there it is. Remember that. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, now, for us, I know we're dealing with an n, so I put an n in there. 4, the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4, plus or minus the square root of negative 4 squared minus 4 times a times c, 5, all over 2 times a, okay? And you plug that in, look what you get. You get 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus 100 over 10. And right then there you can stop because you cannot take the square root of 84. It doesn't work, all right? So for this particular problem, there is no solution. What a jerk. I opened up with a no solution problem. Anyway, had that been a positive, you would have been able to determine it. Had it been positive, you'd have been able to finish this problem. You'd have got 4 plus or minus the square root of something divided by something else, and you could have simplified that. But anyway, right off the bat, wow, I give you a bummer. Okay, but anyway, that's the mechanics of using the quadratic formula. And those are the mechanics of completing the square. So, take some time, walk through that worksheet. I just posted it up there for you. It's not due until Tuesday, so you got some time on that. Please get caught up through 10.4, get your check for comprehension done. I got about 5 of you that have turned that in, and man, do they look good. You guys are doing a great job. You got the L thing figured out. Very happy. All right. That's all I got for you today. If you have questions, please ask. Don't be afraid to turn stuff in even though it's late. I'll take it. Anytime you turn it in, I'll take it. All right, let's get caught up. May's out.